get everything ready. Get everything ready. Shout out to my people on YouTube that's going to be joining us, guys. Definitely for those coming in YouTube, guys, make sure you go ahead and click that notification bell. Make sure you go ahead and share tonight's broadcast. Definitely go ahead, like, comment, all that good stuff. Visit newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking black news. Tonight we're going to be discussing the situation with Charleston White getting jumped on stage. We're going to be talking about Nick Cannon and the colorism event that he held with light skin, dark skin, like it was a rebirth of school days. We're also going to be talking about this South African singer Tyla, whatever her name is. We're going to be talking about her and the whole being defined as colored, which, we understand in South Africa, they have four major groups. You got black, whites, Indians, and colored, but she may have a hell of a time breaking into the American market going by the actual title of colored. That's not going to fly here. So, I know she's kind of getting, I think, a Grammy nomination, and she's kind of getting some notoriety and everything else like that. But if she plans on breaking an American market and, actually having black fans over here in this country, she may the whole color label that's going to be something tough for her right there as well too. So shout out to all you guys coming in. We're going to be starting this thing up in just a second. We're giving our people a little bit of time to get up in here, and we're definitely going to go in. Like I said, we got three topics. Charleston White, and I put a poll up. I got a poll on Twitter and I got a poll up on YouTube. And it reads this right here. On YouTube, we have over 210 votes, and that's up in the Jumbotron. You guys go to the community tab, the Newstoter community tab, and you guys will see the actual same poll as well over there. It says, do you think Charleston White is a positive influence in the black community? Now, the actual answers are different on Twitter as compared to actual on YouTube. I think it's just a simple yes, no, maybe, not sure. On Twitter, I got absolutely, hell no, is this a joke, child, please. And on Twitter, 24% says absolutely, they consider him to be a positive influence. 44% says hell no. 23% says, is this a joke? And 9% says child, please. So that's where we at tonight, guys. And like I said, I look forward to hearing everybody's opinion on this situation as well too. Charleston White, he has been up in the headlines quite a bit recently. Of course, he did the interview with former All-Pro quarterback Cam Newton, Pro Bowl quarterback Cam Newton on Cam Newton's podcast, and he touched a myriad of issues in the black community. Some people felt that he was speaking truth to power, and other people felt that it was almost like a court gesture, sitting up there entertaining the actual royal court. However you look at it, he stays in front of the camera. Charleston White, he has a following. People, they flock to him. Some people agree with exactly what he says. Some people don't. The actual comments on some of the actual polls, some people say absolutely he's correct. Other people say, hey, no, I don't buy anything that this dude says or whatever. So that's where we at. That's what we're going to be talking about. So like I said, we're going to be getting it in. We haven't been on here since Thursday, and I'm glad to be back, glad to speak with the family and everything else as well too. I want to hear some of the brothers' perspective tonight on the situation. I want to hear some of the sisters' perspective as well too, especially about the whole colorism thing, which more so than anything, when we talk about colorism, it always seems to affect women more so than men. You don't hear men too much sit up here and talk about, oh, I'm light skinned, I'm dark skinned or whatever, whether they may feel this or whatever, they may feel a certain way. It definitely seems to have strikes a nerve more so with our women. Shout out to my man Trenton Makes over there on YouTube as well too. So I definitely want to hear what people got to say about this situation as well too. The colorism thing, like I say, this was like an episode. That old episode, you had A Different World when they had the Mammy up there, and you had Whitley, and you had Kim. Whitley, of course, the light-skinned girl. Kim, the actual dark-skinned girl. She felt like the Aunt Your Mama type situation or whatever. I don't really see the need for this in 2023 to be sitting up here having a contest or a competition or event or a show or whatever the hell you want to call it, sitting up here talking about light skin versus dark skin, this and that or whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to touch up on that actually first. This is from our curation partner, Black Sports Online, guys. Visit Black Sports Online for entertainment, celebrity news, as well as some sports as well too. It's up in the jumbotron for my people over there, and YouTube is up in the description. Matter of fact, all the articles up in the jumbotron on Twitter. All the articles are in the actual description on YouTube as well. It says Nick Cannon is getting trashed for bad versus wild, dark skin versus light skin event. Father 12 Nick Cannon is catching heat on social over the bad versus wild, dark skin versus light skin event, which features dark skin and light skinned women. Like, out of all the things in the world that we can have an event on, we decide to go ahead and hold some nonsense like this right here. Like, we back in 1935 in Tuskegee, Alabama. On X, users aren't taking it cool with candidates. They're thrashing him for being a colorist. But despite the heavy backlashes, it seems the event is still coming on live. According to a flyer that's gone viral on social media, Cannon presented a show on Thursday, December 7, 2023, that is promoting bad versus wild, dark skin versus light skin. It appears to be a program that is a combination of Cannon's Wildin' Out and Zeus Baddies. I haven't seen Wildin' Out in I don't know how long, and Baddies, I've never seen Baddies, so I couldn't tell you the first thing about what Baddies is about. I have never seen the show. I don't even have the Zeus network, so I can't tell you anything about Baddies. There is no such marketing campaign that appears on Zeus' website, nor the Instagram pages of Cannon or Zeus. Neither parties have responded to the media inquiries seeking confirmation of this event. The two entities did unveil a trailer for the Bad vs. Wild Las Vegas, showcasing a new series that will film its first season live in Las Vegas in December 7th. Taping featuring Suki Hana as a musical guest. Now, Suki, out of all the musical guests you can get, you got Suki Hana. I don't know one song that Suki Hana sings. I could not hum. I could not play anything, one song that Suki Hana sings. I don't know any of her music. Only thing I knew Suki Hana from, and I'll admit to it, I used to watch the little Love and Hip Hop thing. That's the only thing I know Suki Hana from. According to the Zeus Instagram page, it's been popping all week in Sin City with the Bad vs. Wild taping punctuated with the performances by French Montana and Glorilla. Nick Cannon is doing the most lately. Recently, he revealed how much he spends at Disneyland in a year just to make his 12 kids happy, and it's a whopping $200,000. Nick needs to fund his polygamous lifestyle, and he doesn't mind going to the extreme for the bag. The backlashes are enough for this show not to hold. Yo, that's a lot of kids. First off, 12 kids, $200,000 to go to Disney World, or Disneyland, excuse me. Disney World, of course, is in Florida. Disneyland is out in California. Look, I know how expensive these theme parks are. I've been here in Florida. You're talking about $100 and some per person, but $200,000. I'm wondering, is he taking all 12 kids at one time with him to the actual theme park? 12 kids, $200,000, more than the average American household, more than the average, that's upper middle class when you talk about $200K right there. So that is a hell of a lot of money that Nick is spending. Out of all the things Nick could have went ahead and done, and like I said, I don't know if this show was totally his idea, if it was a collaboration with them and Zeus Network, but to go ahead and to create this colorist thing. And like I said, it seems to affect the sisters more so than anything. You rarely see guys, a light-skinned guy and a dark-skinned guy, sitting up here talking about how they were discriminated against for being dark-skinned and this and that, whatever. But it has different connotations for women, I think, more so than men. And to go ahead and play into that actual stereotype, why not just have a nappy head versus good hair competition as well, too, while we at it? We already doing the light-skin versus the dark-skin, the bad versus the wild. What in the world is this? What kind of marketing is this? Who owns Zeus? Is Zeus black owned? Is this a black owned network? Because I don't have Zeus. Is this black owned? I want to know, is this actually black owned? Nick, everything he touches, goes to gold. So the brother didn't need to go ahead and put this on here. I don't even understand why, out of all the things he could have went ahead and put on TV, he would actually go ahead and add this to the fray. But nonetheless, it is drawing the ire of so many folks on social media. A lot of people have been pissed off and upset with it, and rightfully so. It's 2023. We don't need this type of conversation here. There's so many different things going on in the world. We don't need to worry about light skin versus dark skin. People had to go through that for years and stuff with these little towns, especially in the South, and certain segments and the brown paper bag and all this other stuff right here. We don't need to go ahead and put this on TV for the entire world. We don't need to go ahead and start these type of feelings up and the resentment and things of that nature as well too. Now, I know Nick, for the most part, the type of women he's involved with, they would fall under I don't even know if you can say they fall underneath the light skin category. What's up, Miss Trigger? How you doing over there on YouTube? The women Nick is what they wouldn't fall under light skin, because most of these women are either white or minority or something. They're not black. Most of them not black. Like the blackest thing that I've seen Nick with in the past 10, 15 years is Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's mix. So that's where it goes at. Like I said, he's an intelligent dude. He's a smart dude. Everything he touches turns to gold. This was something that we could have really done without. We really did not need this right here. I want to touch up real quick on this lady, Tyla, whatever, from South Africa. She goes by, and I know, like I said before, when the space started, I said, well, she goes by the identifier of being actual colored. Which over there in South Africa, I understand you got the black, the white, you got the Indian, and you got the colored. Well, at one time we were colored over here in the United States. But if you ask the vast majority of black people, being colored was not something that we like being labeled. But this chick, she's proud of being colored. Also remember that she's only 21 years of age as well, too. So you got to remember that she's a young lady. She's 21 years of age. She has a lot of living. And then we also have to look at the actual, where she's from, her culture. They embrace it over there. I guess for the most part over here, we don't embrace it. We don't embrace being colored. That's just what it is. But over where she's from South Africa. We're from America. So we look at being colored as totally different. This is from African News. It says South African music star Tyla starts huge racial debate on cultural identity. South Africa's rising music sensation, 21-year-old Tyla finds herself at the center of a cultural clash over the term she uses to describe her racial identity, colored. Tyla has gained fame through TikTok, proudly showcased her mixed race heritage in a video that has since ignited a heated online discussion. In a clip, Tyla donned the traditional attire declares herself as a colored South African, emphasizing her connection to various cultures. However, this seemingly innocent expression has sparked controversy, particularly in the U.S., where the term is viewed as a slur due to its historical association with segregationist laws. Tensions rise as Americans online express their discomfort with Tyla's use of the term, warning that it could impact her career in the American market. In contrast, in South Africa, colored is an officially recognized identity rooted in the complex history of a community formed under apartheid rules. The colored community, constituting 8.2% of South Africa's population, has a rich cultural tapestry born out of diverse origins, but unified during the apartheid era. Despite the challenges faced by the community, individuals like Tyla embrace and celebrate their identity. Renowned South African radio host Curator, who interviewed Tyla 2 years ago, commends the artist for popularizing the sound and achieving international success. Curator, who grew up in the predominantly colored era, expressed joy at Tyla breaking barriers and becoming a source of inspiration for the next generation. Despite Tyla's success, her use of the term color faces criticism from some in the U.S. who argue its historical connotations. South African experts caution against imposing American perspectives on Tyla's identity and emphasizing the importance of respecting her self-identification. As Tyla prepares to release a new album and receives Grammy nomination, the debate around her racial identity is poised to continue highlighting the broader conversation on cultural sensitivity and understanding the global music industry. I can tell you straight up right here, that's not going to fly over here. That's not going to fly. Now, it may fly. She may be able to get her some non-black fans over here in the United States of America, but it's going to be hard pressed if this young lady goes by the actual title of color. And I know, and there's been a lot of people online, a lot of black people online. Shout out to everybody coming up in the space as well, too, guys. We're talking about the Nick Cannon situation and the colorism and the impact and the ugly history. And why is Nick Cannon bringing this up? We're talking about I don't know if you guys saw the South African singer Tyla. She's becoming an international, it seems like, success. She's making her way to the American market, but she identifies as colored, and that's one of the identifiers over there in South Africa. She's making her way over in America, and you've had a lot of Black Americans online kick back with the actual label that she calls herself. So it's a lot of people going back and forth, South Africans, Black Americans, about, hey, we don't particularly like that label of being called colored. We've been called colored during segregation, Jim Crow. That's a no-no for us. But the young lady, she's 21, like I remind everybody. It's where she's from. She's proud of it. But I think that she's going to have an issue with it over here. We're going to also address the whole situation with Charleston White. I heard somebody was saying, and I don't know how true this is, but I heard people were saying that, I don't know, did she make any remark about reparations as well, too? Because I heard some people saying that she was talking about reparations. I don't know, guys. I'm going to be honest. I don't know if she was speaking ill of it or whatever. Like I said, I just recently heard of this young lady. I don't know any of her music. I think she was on, I don't know if she was on Jennifer Hudson's show, not too long ago or whatever, but she's making her way. I think she was nominated for a Grammy, so she's getting some stardom and everything else. But like I said, there's an issue with the whole color, not colorism, but the whole thing of what she wants to call herself. Let me check out a couple comments over here. Polo Style says she's got to respect our history and culture over here. She is not in South Africa. She's not in South Africa anymore. I agree with you on that, Polo Styles. Earth Angel says, when those folks told him not to talk about their fake history, Nike shut the hell up. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, okay, that's Nick Cannon. Yeah, Nick came back and Nick started doing cartwheels. When they told him to shut up, Nick went ahead and he did a about face quicker than the mug. He didn't play around. When they told Nick to shut up, say what you want to. Kyrie held fast for the longest, but they broke Nick in record time. Nick know what was up. He know exactly what was up with that. But yeah, we talking about this situation. Shout out to my girl Trouble. I see her in here. Miss T, Just Cakes. I am QT. Miss D, what's up? I see my girl Rel up in here as well too. So Rel up in here early. DJ, what's up with you? DJ Dynasty. I see, of course, Freeman. He's been up in here in a minute holding it down, and I know Freeman's gonna probably come up and got to say something about this situation. Of course, now we got to talk about y'all favorite boy Charleston White, and I put the poll up in the jumbotron, y'all. Make sure y'all vote in that poll if y'all have not voted up in the poll. The poll is also from a people over there in YouTube land as well too. It reads like this: do you think Charleston White is a positive influence in the Black community? Most of y'all don't think he is. I had a bunch of people to say he was now, but most of y'all don't think that he is a positive influence. So let's go ahead, because Charleston has been doing a lot lately. I can't say lately. Charleston White is always doing a lot. The boys are they were trying to fade him up though a little bit though. Okay, this is from Hip Hop DX. Charleston White involved in on-stage scuffle after throwing prop at heckler. Charleston White has learned perhaps the hard way not to get violent with audience members. The controversial comedian was performing on Saturday, December 9th, when an audience member began heckling him. The show, which took place at Crockett Civic Center in Crockett, Texas, was part of a Christmas celebration. Things started taking a sharp left turn when White began taunting two audience members wearing LA Lakers jerseys. Pull out some money, though. Pull out some money, he shouted at them. He called them the B word. Pull out some money. One of the attendees began approaching the stage when prompted White to threaten, which prompted White to threaten that he would hit the heckler in his goddamn head while picking up a plant from the stage. Despite security trying to defuse the situation, White subsequently tossed the plant at the audience member's head, prompting an all-out brawl on stage. Charleston White has increasingly become known for his controversial takes on current affairs. Last month, he made headlines when he rehashed old rumors surrounding Lil Durk and King Von, claiming that the OTF leader snitched on the late drill rapper. Von was killed trying to harm a nigga smaller than him, he said, and we gonna shame Timmy. We don't shame Durk. Durk beat the case and putting it on Von, snitched on his dead homie. Come on, my nigga. See, Durk wasn't no killer, Von was. He continued, the rest of them niggas wasn't. They singing and rapping. The rest of these niggas that singing and rapping wasn't no killers. We know for a fact he was. We know for a fact that the reason King Von was released from jail to become a big star was because witnesses turned up deleted. White seems to have been referring to an incident in which happened in 2019 and May of that year. Durk, real name Dirk Banks, turned himself into the police after a warrant was issued for his arrest in connection with the February 2019 shooting outside the Atlanta restaurant, The Varsity. The Chicago rapper and fellow OTF member King Von, who was killed in November 2020, was charged with criminal attempt to commit murder as well as aggravated assault, participation in criminal street gang activity, possession of firearm during the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. But on October 22nd of that year, the charges against Dirk and the late Vaughn were dropped due to prosecutorial discretion, according to WSB TV, and the dismissal of charges motion issued by Georgia's Superior Court Fulton County District Attorney for Nee Williams. The facts of this case have been reviewed, and although it appears that probable cause existed for the defendant's arrest, the decision of district attorney at this time is not to prosecute. Now, I know he was also, like I said, he was also on the little podcast with Cam Newton, and he was talking hella noise. Like, I know he was talking about all the stuff that he does in the community, how he knows lawyers and politicians, and how he was trying to do positive things, but that basically black people didn't want any positive things done, and that he basically had to show his behind for people to actually take him serious. I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch most of it. I knew it came out a week or two ago, and he was sitting up there with Cam Newton, and they were kind of having a back and forth or whatever. And Charleston White whole thing is that, hey, he does more for the black community than most of the people that you see. I don't know exactly what Charleston White does for the black community. I'm not at liberty. I have no idea. I've heard that he does things for the black community. At the same time, Charleston White says a lot of things that's offhand that sometimes people wonder if he may not be an agent of chaos. So I really don't know exactly all that Charleston White does for the community in terms of maybe setting up scholarships and food drives and this and that or whatever. I don't really all know for a fact. I know that his mouth is open 24/7. He's constantly saying crazy stuff. He's constantly attracting the cameras in front of him. People either love him or they hate him. There's really no middle ground when it comes to Charleston White as well, too. So I'm not exactly sure exactly all of the stuff that he does. Some of you guys up in the space, you may be more familiar with it. I'm not exactly sure what city Charleston White is out of as well, too, but he's never met a microphone that he didn't like. If you put a microphone in front of this dude, he is going to run his yap. He never shuts up. He never stops talking. And, hey, more power to him, because it seems that he has a following of people, that they flock to him. Like, they flock to him. So whatever he says, instantly seems like it goes viral. And for his sake, he's lucky that, they were able to kind of diffuse that situation to a certain degree on stage, because you had some boys that was trying to, put a little bit of hurt on him. And I'm sure that's not going to be the last time either. And whenever you're heckling people like that, and then you start threatening to do this and threatening to do that, you kind of expect the repercussions. Now, you're going to sit up here and tell the average dudes up in the audience who may be drinking and everything else, could have had some drinks on, what you going to do first? You're sitting up here, you're talking about money. And, if you're a comedian, you're going to have hecklers as well, too. That's part of the routine. So you had hecklers. But once you start talking about physically harming somebody, then, all bets are off. And you're sitting up here and you're picking up actual props and you're picking up things, a plan, and you're sitting up here and you're talking about you're going to hit somebody upside the head. What do you expect? What do you think is going to happen? You think people are just going to sit there and stay cool and just let everything just kind of chill and die down? No, you're going to have folks that's want to come up there. You probably already had a significant amount of people up in the actual in the place in the Civic Center that wanted to go ahead and beat them up already. But like I said, Charleston has a mouth on him, and he can't weigh no more than about 110 pounds. So, I mean, you ain't exactly the biggest dude in the world either. You got all that mouth. There are a bunch of dudes out there that want to straighten you. They want to get to it. So this is what it is. Like I said, this dude, he cannot weigh no more. If he weighs 130 pounds soaking wet, he can't weigh 130 pounds soaking wet. He weighs about 115 pounds at tops. He's a little dude. I saw him one time, like with a little video out, and he was boxing. He was doing some little training or whatever. Okay, that's all fine and good or whatever. But those body bags and stuff, like those heavy bags, they don't hit back. So, I mean, those are stationary. That's not a real person. So shout out to everybody coming up in the space. I see we got a bunch of y'all up in the space right now coming through or whatever. So if anybody wants to speak as well, too. And like I said, we're talking up on a number of issues tonight, guys. We're talking about Nick Cannon and the situation Nick Cannon had with the light skin, dark skin event that I don't even know why a reputable, and I don't know, guys, I've never had Zeus Network, so help me. I don't know why a reputable network would even go about trying to host something light skin, dark skin, or whatever. Then it's titled Bad versus Wild. Look, this is not, like I said, this is not the 1930s. We don't need to, you don't need to really create that type of division amongst people right there. When you're having something like that, that's all that's going to create is division. You might as well have good hair versus bad hair, nappy hair versus straight hair. If you're going to do something like that right there, it makes absolutely no sense. What's up, Trouble? What's going on? You got it. It's Trouble and that Negro. What's up with you as well, too? I see my girl FBA Goddess is up in here as well. You got it, Trouble.
Hey, Newstoter. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to everybody in the space. Of course, you would have heard and said what I was about to say as far as the division goes. It's just with the Nick Cannon and the colorism thing. It's just weird to me. It gives off what was that movie from back in the days?
School Days. School Days.
It's like it brought all of that back. Like, are we doing that again? Wait, can we get somebody to scream wake up right quick? Because it's ridiculous with everything we got going on now. Why would you promote something like that? But we're really just in an era where it's about making that bag, and damn the consequences and the repercussions that come from you making your bag. As long as you could make a bag for your handlers. You're making a bag, and the production company behind you, the networks that will put this foolishness on their airwaves is making a bag, and we all know who pretty much controls the entertainment industry. So you're doing a disservice to your people for these people because they're looking to destroy us. They've been trying to destroy us for a long time, and so I look at people like that as agents. Agents of chaos that's willing to help those who you already know is trying to destroy. Also, you can get the bag, so you can keep your name going, so you can keep the money that because you got 100,000 children that you got to support, and this is the only way that you feel like you could get a bag is continually, putting your people under this type of scrutiny. And you're right. If you're going to do a light versus dark, you might as well do a nappy hair versus straight hair versus, what have you. So to me, it's unnecessary, and I wish that the majority of our people was on code enough to make his production a disaster as far as our viewership is concerned by not giving him the views that would make that show pop. But the truth of the matter is, even if we're not watching, the white collective will be in numbers because it satisfied their need for the division of the Negroes. So there's always that, which just makes it just that much more worse. Charleston White, you had put up a poll the other day about Charleston White, and I commented on the post, but I couldn't vote on the poll because it wasn't enough options for me. Like, I don't necessarily think that he's a positive influence on the community. I can't necessarily say he's a negative, but it would probably lean more negative than positive. I don't like people who in one breath say good things and then in the next breath it's just a detriment. It's just a whole problem. And there's times when Charleston White is a whole problem, and then there's times when you like, what, damn, he really said something, kind of poignant right there. He really was. And I think maybe for me, it was the video where he was, I don't know if that was Cam Newton, where he was talking about how when he was dressing up in suits and he was going to try to get laws passed or doing things for the community, and nobody was paying him any attention, and nobody was calling his name, and nobody was saying anything about that. They didn't pay attention about that. But when the moment that he stepped out of line and started getting gully with his foolishness, that's when everybody was saying his name. But my thing is that when you're doing work for the community, often it's thankless work. Often it's the people who are not really seen that's the ones in the background getting shit done. So why aren't you satisfied with that? Why do you have to be seen? Why do you have to have, your name being called and getting the accolades for? I mean, I know everybody want a little bit of praise, and that's just how you know, in you know, when it comes to certain types of work and certain types of people, that's the motivation factor, is being recognized for the things that you do. But you have to go about it in a particular way that's kind of unsavory and kind of not really for the people. You know, it just isn't. So that's why I really couldn't click on the poll as far as one of the choices that was concerned. I guess the jury is still out on him for me, but you know, then there was the other video where Charleston White was talking to a host, and the host asked him a question he didn't like, and I think he was toe up from the flow up in that interview, and he pulled his gun out on the host. That was the first video of me being introduced to Charleston White that I seen, which gave me a negative opinion of him. So it's those back and forth videos where one minute you're doing something that's just real ghetto, real crazy. It doesn't speak to who you say you're trying to be. And then there's the next video which you saying, look, this is what I do for the community. This is what I do for my people. The two just don't go together. You need to figure out who you want to be, because right now you're kind of all over the map. The little Tyla girl, colored, I know you were saying something about reparations. I don't know if it was her, but I know it was one of these little non-American singers that had said something in one of their songs about, boy, I don't need your reparations. I don't need reparations. I can get my own money a bag. And then come to find out it was like a British white writer and maybe an American black writer or something like that who had wrote that for her. So she didn't even write the song, but she was crooning it. And so people kind of pointed that out. And again, I'm not sure if that was Tyla or if that was some other girl. But the whole colored thing is, I don't know, there's a fine line with that for me, because she did grow up in a community where it was acceptable. But over here in the American markets, it's not acceptable. And so, I don't know, I'm still kind of sussing that one out. We don't, you know, I guess that to a certain degree, someone had made a comment that said that if you want to break into the American market, you're going to have to pull that back, because we don't accept that type of language over here. Because what ends up happening is we get these people, you know, that comes here under the cloak of blackness, and they're from these other nations where they accept certain things that we don't accept. And so when you come here and you're accepting of certain things that we consider or look at as white supremacic behavior, it then makes the white supremacists feel like they can do it to us, or, you know, say it to us or whatever with us. And we've already had these battles with these mugs to move away from certain things. So when you all come here and you bring that with you, it's sort of like a setback to a certain degree. You know, we're not able to move forward because we're not done with the battle that we've been fighting for so long. So I get where people are at with that, but also I get where she's at with it, where, you know, this is what they were called over there, because when you're mixed, when you're colored, it's because due to the fact that you're mixed with Chinese, African, European, and ooga booga, you know, whatever ooga booga consists of. So you got all of these different mixtures, and so you call yourself colored, but, you know, so I'll just lean back on that conversation for right now. But I kind of feel both sides of the argument on it. And I'll land right there. Thank you for letting me speak.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. That Negro, go ahead, and then I'm going to get to you, Lee, with the logic. Go ahead. That Negro, how you doing tonight?
Yes, sir. Doing great, Newstoter. And salute to you. Peace, power, and Negro reparations to the room, specifically for the descendants of Black American Negroes who built America with slave labor, per the land's promise in Special Field Orders 15, January 16th, 1865. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Trouble just said. A lot of it. I went ahead. That's really the only up in the title of the room. That's really the only thing I feel like I can speak to confidently. I watched that 3-hour video, you know, and he said, man, there were a lot of gems in that. I mean, from how a Black American Negro child will grow up, or could has the opportunity or might get put in a situation like that. I definitely wasn't. Mine would be more dope leaning, but pimp leaning, I ain't never really seen that or been around that. And being a dad, that was some of the kind of I gave it an 80% out of what I listened to as far as a realistic, true hope for our people to get in a better place. I agree with 80% of what he said in that video, and definitely fuck Dion. I'm with that part. But as far as the women, the way he talked to our women, and the way he talks to our youth, he said that he talks to the youth the same way he talks kind of vulgar and crazy on TV. So it's like, dang, so for me personally as a dad and as someone who really does want to see our people be better than that, I think it's kind of asinine to be letting those two things off, because those are two pretty huge problems in our society. The lack of respect, not society, but in our people, like the way that they, some things that we need to change, laying hands on women, not that all of us do, but we need to discourage that, if anything, like laying hands on women. And he said that as well. He said, I smack my women out of love. And I'm like, yeah, when I was 20, I might have heard that and like felt a bit, but at 43, I'm like, yeah, that's not what we want going on, especially if it was my daughter that was in the, man, I'd kill somebody if they thought that was normal or that was love. So yeah, but a lot of what he said was very real and very true, and I appreciate it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on Charleston White. Is there any way, Newstoter, is it okay if I tell about some amazing news that happened today? Reparations style, if it's all right. If not, I could wait.
Yeah, real quick, that Negro, because I don't want to move the conversation too much from where we at, but real quick.
Yes, sir. So real quick, I've been posting, everyone's seeing me talking about that meeting with my sitting senator today. It went amazing. We showed up and showed out. Talent, big ups. Irene, big ups. Thank you so much for helping. And we gave our real Negro story. We introduced the reparations resolution. Please support where you can, sign the petition, and do what you can to keep this moving. And thank you, Toter, for letting me get that off. I appreciate you.
No problem. It's always good to hear from you, brother. Let me go ahead and get to Lead with Logic, and anybody else that wants to speak as well, too. Feel free to go ahead and raise your hand and come on up here and talk about the topics that we got tonight. We're talking about Nick Cannon and the colorism that he had on display with that event. We talk about Charleston White, and there's a number of things you could talk about Charleston White about. And we're talking about the young singer Tyla from South Africa and the whole colored label and coming to America, and how is that going to play out as well too. But Lead with Logic, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing?
Peace. Can you hear me?
You're a little bit low. Are you you got a headset on anything?
Yeah, I got a headset on. Hold on, let me can you hear me better?
If you could take the headset off, because we got we live streaming it so the people on YouTube can hear you. Let me see if
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you much better.
Yeah, the AirPods be acting up. Hey man, I appreciate y'all letting me come in, man, and speak on your space, big brother. I don't really have much to say about Nick Cannon and colorism and Tyla, the color or whatnot. I just really want to speak to the personality that is the persona, I should say, that is Charleston White. If everybody in the room look, I just posted this AFRAM news thing because I looked Charleston up. Hype, that's the name of his group, helping young people excel. He's a peculiar individual for me, right? Because typically the way I deal with any type of accessible, massively accessible celebrity is I really don't take them serious, right? But when I do, when they get to the point where people are discussing them in length and depth, I say, okay, let me look and see who this person is, because there's a persona and then there's the person. So what I see with Charleston White from my small perspective is he's a mirror. He's mirroring a lot of what Black culture is, and he's saying, look, this is who we are. This is what we do. People they get mad at Charleston White for the same thing they worship and praise other people for. So that doesn't look good when people are saying he's a detractor, he's bad, because we'll turn right around and worship the rappers, right? We'll turn right around and give them a pass. So it's like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? If somebody's sick, let's get ill with all of them. Let's just call it fair with everybody. But what I did with Charleston White was I called him on his bluff. I said, well, I want to see how much work he's really doing behind the scenes. When you look him up, Charleston White was doing a whole lot of work. He almost reminds me or you of the late, great Kevin Samuels. When he took the internet by storm, people hated, they could not stand it, right? He was public enemy number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But when you did the research on Kevin Samuels, it was 5 years. He was eating men's asses up, excuse my language. He was the same. He was doing other things right behind the scenes. But I get it. When you're trying to get views, when you baiting and switching people, you create a character, right? And that's common. Michael Jordan has Air Jordan. Kobe, rest his soul, was the Mamba. People have alternate egos in which they can draw from, jump in and out of, in order to be somebody different and to perform and then become themselves. I understand everybody's complaint with Charleston White. I do. I get it because I've heard the vulgarities. But I just think in other areas of our culture, it's acceptable. But yeah, I just look at Charleston like I look at a lot of other people, and that's for his good deeds. Because Charleston White, the persona, is like any other person, any other persona. Oprah Winfrey, Michael Jackson, so whoever it is, right? I still have to raise my kids. I still have to filter them and let them know what's real and what's not. I just think Charleston White is a mirror to a lot of our issues, right? And people have an issue with that. But I look at, like I said, I left up there in the Jumbotron, I left up there a news article for those who care to read it about his organization. It was from December the 2nd, 2014, right? So yeah, hey, peace and love, y'all. Y'all check the Lead with Lights podcast on YouTube if y'all want to hear some great bills. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
All right, appreciate that, brother. Thank you. I see we got my girl Rella up here as well too, so I definitely look forward to hearing what Rella got to say about these actual topics. Rella, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Newstoter, shout out to the space. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good.
Good. I see my girl up here. Shout out to that Negro and to the Freedmen and all of the descendant family, FBA ADOS. I see all y'all up in the space. What can I say? Nick Cannon situation, I won't start there. I'm going to start with Tyla. I agree with everything Trouble mentioned. You have people, again, I think, that are paid to, in order to get on, they have to actually go through, I think, somehow initiation. The music and film industry has been like that, unfortunately, because, again, when you don't control the purse strings, you can turn people into puppets who are looking for financial freedom through their talents. And it's unfortunate they get abused by people and other groups and communities, almost like court gestures, just for entertainment and for the building up of other companies and other groups. Charleston White, I don't see him as a hero. I see him as doing things that I see him doing things as a citizen that I think other people probably could have done. I think just like a lot of the Bible characters, he's a flawed man. He had cases, in regards to, I think, some issues where he had assaulted, I think, a woman or a couple of women and stuff, and he talked about that openly. He even talked about the culture in the same life that he is actually trying to psychologically, I think, get people, as he quote unquote said, pay attention to the things that he was trying to shed a light on. He participated in. And I'm not saying people can't wake up to information and do things better, but there are consequences to every action. And much like Kevin Samuels, there's consequences to every action. And when you use your tongue to try to slay a dragon by trying to get the dragon's attention by trying to be a dragon, there are consequences to every action. And unfortunately, there are going to be people who are they're going to leave this earth, and they're going to have both good and bad, I think, elements of themselves that they're going to leave behind. No one's, I think, exempt from that. There's been no perfect person. I've never met them. And I include myself in that. So at the end of the day, when I look at Charleston White, the degeneracy is there, but I see someone also who, he's trying to possibly maybe shed light to get people to see, the error of their ways by it being an error at times. And that's not going to always end well. It's not going to always sit well with everybody. That's why, a lot of people don't agree. And I also think that in the age of where we're moving in the space of reparations and compensatory and majority state authority, majority of people don't live like Charleston White on a granular scale. Most people growing up in the hood are not in gangs. They're not running around with their pants sagging or, having multiple families here and there and stuff like that. Yes, single parents do exist. I wouldn't say on a higher level scale, but I also would say that there are issues with resources in our community, much like other communities, and we don't get the support. But what people try to pay attention to is that somehow we don't get to be human. We don't get to indulge in social activities when it comes to music because of the influence of said music made by a particular group of people in our community that somehow get propped up because people want to just live their daily lives. And it's sad because we know now influence can pave the road to hell, much like good intentions. Someone can influence you into doing something so wrong or being a part of something so wrong and you thinking it's just an innocent thing, or you could be around a crowd of people that are doing good things, engineers, people who are developing, creating, people who want to get in front of your politicians and have the discussion on why we're not getting resources and things like that. I think it's all perspective on who and how people decide to put their focus, where they lay their focus on. If you are focused on, people who have not moved the needle when it comes to repair and talking about political justice or social justice, then you're going to look to people like Charleston White and Kevin Samuels. But if you're looking at people like Fannie Lou Hamer or Dr. Shirley Weber, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, or even people that folks don't even know about, George Washington Carver, all of the greats who pretty much tried to pave a way for us to live a more cultured and stable life, then you're going to look for those things. So at the end of the day, I think our community has to have a big discussion on what is the direction that we really want to go in. And then who are we going to allow to continuously be our influencers and our builders, and who are we going to allow to continuously lead us down a path of astray? And I think that's a real discussion that we all need to have, even in our prospective families, not just, on Twitter.
All right. Thank you, Rella. I will say, like I say, Charleston White, I learned about Charleston White last year. Same with Kevin Samuels. I had heard about Kevin Samuels, but I didn't really watch any Kevin Samuels. A lot of his stuff when he was alive, I think I saw maybe a video or two, but I didn't really saw more Kevin Samuels stuff after he actually passed away. But just in your opinion, Rella, is it really a fair comparison, you think, between Charleston White says a lot of inflammatory stuff. Now I know people say the same about Kevin Samuels, but I don't know, some of the stuff that Charleston White says that, you could say is borderline criminal at times. Like I don't know, I don't really know if you could say that Kevin Samuels, said the kind of stuff that came out of his mouth that Charleston White said, and that's not to talk about what Charleston White does for the community or this and that or whatever. Kevin Samuels, he had his lane and he said certain things or whatever, whether you agree with it or not. But, some of the stuff Charleston White was saying, I know he was talking about slavery, and one time in one of his, in a video I saw too, and he was basically saying slavery ain't did nothing to him, screw slavery and yada, yada. He ain't thinking about slavery, which, hey, of course, none of us in this space were slaves. I understand that, but slavery has had an impact or whatever. But, some of the stuff that he says, I don't know. Like, what's Charleston White's? What?
If you really think about it, it just depends on who you ask. If you ask someone who's a fan of Charleston White, they would agree with everything that he's saying, and ain't nothing he said was wrong. But if you're talking to people who are in the space where they're talking about history, they're pulling up records, they are people who are helping people find their genealogy and map people and families back together. Charleston White and what he said is on the same lines of degradation and the things that we go through in regards to erasure on a daily basis. If you were to talk about a woman who was abused by a man or a few men, and she was living her daily life socially, or she was or had a marriage, or she was in a situation where she was dating, and from her perspective, you would ask her about Kevin Samuels, and she wanted to give her perspective, then you would again see the same response in degradation. Same with men. If you ask them about how they're being treated by women, X, Y, and Z, yada, 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 it would be the response of degradation. Until you talk to people, I think, that have a level head in regards to how they are able to disseminate and have a balanced conversation to look at the entire picture to be like, okay, yeah, that was wrong. Maybe that wasn't right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, now I understand your perspective. But that's not what happens. That's not what happens when you're having conversations with people who are fans of individuals who just overnight become legends, but they have not actually helped to heal a situation that they also contribute to. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, it might sound comparing the two as apples and oranges, but it really isn't. You're just looking at two men who were able to fast track themselves in the public by things that they're saying that people agree with, and it becomes, the people make them popular than probably what they should be, and not really dissecting the information that they're saying. And then next thing you know, they become gods to people. You understand what I'm saying?
The only difference I would say is that, you could say that you've heard Charleston White say some stuff that borderline criminal. I don't, and from I've never heard Kevin Samuels say anything, whether you like him, you love him, you hate him. I didn't hear anything Kevin Samuels say, oh Lord, did this Negro just say this right? Did he say that? That's criminal, right? Like Charleston White, because we had was it earlier this year or last year? We did do a space on him, and he was even sitting up here and talking about, sexually assaulting like the Asian kids and stuff. Like, yo, dude, what are you talking? Like, what are you talking about here, man? Like, we not trying to go this route here. So that's the difference. Like I say, Kevin Samuels, whether you agree with what he said in terms of relationships and this and that or whatever, I don't remember him ever saying anything criminally, like oh Lord, like and I know Charleston White has a mouth and he probably was just talking or whatever, like, hey dude, you may not want to say this right here on recorded spaces, on YouTube, on these videos and stuff like that. I don't know if you can really say that with Kevin Samuels. That's the only thing I'm saying. Like, you know, love them or hate them, both of them. Like, and I know they both have, like you say, people that absolutely loved each one of them. But I don't think you can really say that Kevin Samuels was saying criminally, like anything that could, you know, implicate him criminally or even, you know, make it just seem to the point like, yo, you know, people look at it like, yeah, did this Negro just say what I just think he said? So that's the only difference. You know, I like I said, I don't know exactly what they did in terms of their personal life. I don't know if anybody did any criminal things, anything, or just talk, just like, hey, you know, just a bunch of hot air or whatever. But that's the only, you know, that's the only difference I would say. You know, I never heard Kevin Samuels say anything to that effect as compared to, you know, the other cat. He, you know, he's even on, you know, you see him on videos and stuff and he's got guns and this and that and whatever. And he's saying all kind of crazy stuff at times like that. And yeah, I believe a lot of it is just for show and theatrics or whatever. At the same time, the other one, you know, they carried themselves differently. That's all I would say. Like they carried themselves two totally different ways.
Wow. One wore a suit and the other one actually cusses. And now when Kevin Samuels would get upset, now he cussed and stuff back at people and he got derogatory too.
Yeah, but cursing and still saying criminal things about, you know,
that's what I'm saying. So just because it's not criminal in your eyes as far as bad as Charleston White, all I'm saying is whether or not it is what Kevin Samuels did was not as criminal or as bad, you could still dissect both of them and find flaws in both. And you can find good things in both and probably pick out things that some of the things that people would probably agree that he did that were true. And I remember, and I keep bringing this up, and I said this before, prior to his passing, when he did his podcast with Tasha K, that was to me the most genuine time I've ever saw Kevin Samuels come out when he actually started talking about his real reason on why he used the tactics he used to garner the influence he was looking for his platform. Some was for it to build his platform, but initially it was to spark a conversation between men and women on relationships, and his intention was never to demonize Black women. And to me, it was almost like, oh my God, so he actually said it, but no one actually talks about that one. Everybody talks about everything else. It does not have to be, to me, criminal in order for you to look at both the good and the bad in both of the two. I think you can just point out the fact that Charleston White is extremely hard to listen to at times. And then Kevin Samuels, again, depending on who you speak to, can also be hard to listen to as well. Or it can be good for some people who actually, you know, who have successful relationships. So again, it just depends on who you talk to.
Okay, well, like I said, I don't know. I see just the way both of them presented themselves and conducted themselves or whatever. I see them as being a little bit different. I get you. You can always pick out the positive and negatives in anybody. So I definitely understand that part of what you're saying. It's just that, like I say, just in terms of the actual delivery and the actual, you know, the talking points and everything else, some of the stuff that, you know, that came out of both of their mouths, I think it's a lot different in my personal opinion, but I understand what you're saying with like the positive and the negatives and everything else as well too. You can find good and bad and everything, but, you know, just personally, I think it was a little bit different in my personal opinion, but I definitely I respect what you got to say. We got FBA Goddess up here. FBA Goddess, how you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing fine. Not sure if y'all talked about that video with Cam Newton when he was speaking with him, where he was talking about how he was clean cut and the things he used to do, and his delivery back then was, you know, clean or whatever, and nobody was listening. So he decided that he would change up and switch into being who he is now. And when he switched up, he said that's what made people pay attention to what he's talking about. So he's saying that he made that persona because of the fact that people weren't listening when he was the other one. So that's why he is doing what he's doing now, because if you don't notice, everybody's listening.
Oh yeah. We briefly talked about that, but you're right, sister. He did switch it up, and now he's getting more attention. Now, is it contrived and everything else? That's what you have to look at. I mean, yeah, he's getting attention. He's in terms of being online and stuff, a bunch of people know who he is. They say they say he does a lot of stuff in the community. I don't really know. Do you know exactly? Because they say he does a lot of things.
He does, and I mean, he don't speak about it like that, but he does a lot. And you know, when I watched that interview with Cam Newton, when he was speaking with him, I looked at different things that he was doing. He does different things for the community. He is doing this for shock value. It's not really who he is. I believe he's just doing it for shock value. Now that I've seen the other side of him, I think it is more so shock value than anything else. And some people can't take it. And, you know, just like she was saying about Kevin Samuels, people couldn't take what Kevin Samuels was talking about. But as I look and see how some women today are, he was right.
All right. Thank you, FBA Goddess. Let me ask any of y'all a quick question here real quick. How did y'all feel about the dudes on stage that was trying to get at him?
Hey, that's the hood knockers right there. There you go.
Their words. I don't understand why people are so, you know, caught up with words. Well, why do you let words get to you like that? I mean, I hit dog hollered, I guess, and they hollered and jumped on that stage. So.
All right.
But doesn't make it right. And then see, again, it's like, going back to consequences for even the things that you say will happen. So even if you call out the truth, there are consequences to it. And what they are and how you respond, I mean, all of that is going to matter. And some people respond in the hood like, yeah, we might be trapping, we might be doing X, Y, and Z for the ones who do, but we don't want you to call it out on us, right? But then he's like, well, you're not a benefit. He's saying you're not a benefit to the neighborhood if you sell it to your own people, because he used to sell to his own people. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's consequences for saying stuff like that on both ends. Is he right? Probably so, yes. Do we know what happens with drugs and sold to our community? Yes, we do. Do we know what happens when, you know, the boys or the girls in our community go to jail or picked up or targeted by the police? We do. But also, do we also know what happens when people who do not live that life become the target of a continuous cycle of what the police do, whether you are in the life or not? We do. And now if they go out at a concert and he's talking and then he's talking to them and they having words with each other and they respond, there's consequences. Can you be mad? Probably yes and no.
I would still say it was super weak, though. I mean, coming from the perspective of someone that is disabled, but I used to be ready to go, I would never jump on someone. I mean, even if they did, kind of like what was said a second ago, words, I mean, those are just words. Like, if you touch me, that's a different story. Disabled or not, really, I mean, that's kind of you saying, I don't care, but words, yeah, I'm with whoever said that earlier, man. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. That was literally, I remember saying that when I was a kid. Yeah, man, so just my 2 cents.
A punch in the face will.
That's not the truth, though, because words have consequences. Well,
Yep.
agree that people should have jumped on the stage like that. Where you gotta watch your mouth. You can like the saying goes, you can control the clap, but you can't control the clap back. So you clap and then somebody else clap back. You can't control that. And as far as sticks and stones may hurt your bones, Crackers used to tell me that when I was a little bit of girl. You know, the teacher stood there watching as Crackers was doing things to me, and then would turn around and tell me, you know, sticks and stones may hurt your bones, look hurt your, you know, but you know, never mind A, B, and C. And so it's like, you know, sticks and stones, you know, that doesn't fly all the time when people are intentionally using words towards you that put you in a zone that is causing you harm. Sticks and words do hurt. Words absolutely do hurt, and sometimes you gotta get that work behind the words. You know, I'm just saying, you gotta watch what you say to people. You really do, because it ain't but so much I'm gonna let you say to me before, you know what I'm saying, I'll make you feel it. Make you feel them words that you said. I'm gonna make you eat them words.
Real talk. Let me go ahead and get to I see we got my man Ray up here as well too. Before we get to Ray, guys, up in the Jumbotron, we ain't got the YouTube channel up there, so I'm gonna put the YouTube channel up there. But we got Funded Socially up there, so if you guys, no, you got it. Okay, we got the YouTube channel up in there. So if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. For my people that's on YouTube, guys, make sure y'all click the notification bell. Definitely go ahead and share out tonight's broadcast. Like, leave a comment. When people up in here, same thing. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to the actual YouTube channel. Tweet out the space as well, too, guys. Tweet out the space. Definitely for those that can support on Cash App, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $Newstoter. For those that do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. For those on YouTube, we have the actual Venmo and PayPal up in the description. The Cash App is on the actual screen as well, guys. Let me go ahead and kick it to Ray. Ray, what's going on tonight?
What's going on, everybody? So I'm gonna be real quick. I believe it was FBA Goddess that was basically talking about how words shouldn't really affect us. I do agree, but like I believe the Sister Trouble that said, you're only gonna say so much to me before at some point I have to respond back. You know, not even as a man, but as a human being. And I don't really think it was so much as the words. I mean, yeah, he was saying some reckless stuff, but then let's not also forget, if you saw the video, Charleston White took a flower or a vase, or it was something to that effect, and he hit him in the head with it. He said, I hit you in the head with this, and then he did it. I'm not about to just let somebody bop me upside my head and that just be the end of it. I don't care who he is. So, I mean, he takes it too far. And then obviously gets on social media and he's saying, you know, like, you know, I'm fine. I didn't get touched up. I don't have a scratch on me. I still got the bag and all this other stuff. To me, that's just kind of a cop out, honestly, because he you know, he knows that he was wilding out. And honestly, he got checked. Anyone that, you know how it is, the Black community, you ain't just going to be talking with so much before some people start putting some hands and feet on you. And it seems like, you know, it kind of might be his karma because he been talking reckless to everybody, saying all this crazy stuff and F this person and what is I forget what's his name. I forget the guy's name, but he has a J Prince, his label or whatever. He was saying F them. And I mean, eventually you keep saying this stuff, someone's going to touch you. And Tariq touched on this earlier, not that he's been touched. It's likely that he's going to get touched again. But he's going to play on the fact that he's disabled, that he has, you know, he's missing an eye and stuff. Because if you touch a disabled person, now your charges get enhanced on you. So, I mean, you got to think about stuff like that, man. He's trolling. Obviously, Charleston White's a troll. Yes, he does some good stuff in the community, but, I mean, you can't go around talking recklessly and expect no one not to touch you.
And just to be clear right here, too, as well, let's be for real now. Charleston White weighs $105. So you sitting up here running your mouth to a lot of these dudes like that. And I'm not saying that, you know, people should just go around hitting people and this and that or whatever, but he's not exactly the biggest dude in the world either. And let's be for real. There's some people out here don't care how big you are. Like you start like talking reckless and talking crazy after a while, you have an issue on your hands right there. So I'm not saying, you know, people should just go ahead and the minute somebody says something they don't like, go ahead and put your hands on them or whatever. But you do realize that a lot of people are like that. I mean, let's be for real. There are a lot of people looking for a reason to go ahead and go off and snap. So you kind of got to be a little bit careful. Jay Prince also, like you say, he was talking wild at Jay Prince, and we all, and for those of us that really know behind hip hop and stuff like that, Jay Prince is one of those people that, you know, there's a legend behind Jay Prince. That he's one of them people really that you really didn't really, really want to mess with, to be honest. There's all kind of stories behind Jay Prince and Rap a Lot and everything else that went down as well too. And Jay Prince was, he's one of them people, man, that, for years and years on out, we've heard all kind of different stories and stuff like that. Jay Prince is one of those people that you really didn't want to get up in the mix with as well too. But, he talks a lot. He talks a lot as well too. So like I said, and like you said, Ray, what you say, Tariq said, like when a situation like this happens as well too, now you have to worry about other people trying you and stuff like that as well too. So, I don't want to see any harm fall on the man, anything like that. But a lot of people, they're gonna be trying to check Charleston as well too. So we'll see exactly how this stuff plays out. But he definitely, I hope he has his security up to date as well too. Make sure you got them bodyguards with you. Like I said, you're a little dude, man. You're a little dude. Like, I mean, this dude at tops can't weigh no more than 110 pounds, 110, 115 pounds. So you lighten the ass as well too. You're not the biggest dude out there. So you kind of got to be a little bit careful. Let me go ahead. I see we got my girl Just Cakes up here. Just Cakes, what's going on with you?
Hey, y'all. Hey, family. I got family entertained. I'm entertaining right now, but I just want to drop in real quick. So, with Tyla, with Tyla, I hope I ain't kicked out because this is my doorbell. With Tyla, that color situation, how she grew up, it's like ignorance is bliss. Hey, bro. Ignorance is bliss only to a certain extent. It's only an excuse. Don't worry about it. It's only an excuse to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? Because in the system of white supremacy, they use ignorance or chaos to undermine us. Just like the caste system. That's all that colored situation is another caste system. Just like the mulatto or whatever the case is. As far as Nick Cannon, them people, I ain't gonna call them by name, but we know who they are. Them people who worship money, that run the world in the media, not only when you agree them, they make you first pay the money, and then you gotta jump through hoops and circles to get back their good grace. So I look at that like they putting him out there in a situation for us to turn on him. And if you have no backbones, you can't stand up to it. That it just is what it is. You gotta deal with what comes with it. Charleston White, as far as him, I'm gonna agree with my girl Trouble. Okay, it's only so much stuff you could be able to say and talk about before you're gonna have to get hit in your mouth. Okay, the problem with the CBC, a Congressional Black Caucus, is that they gave white Democrats and white people the green light to talk to us like we not worth anything. Okay? And the fact that Charleston White literally sounds like Uncle Ruckus off the Boondocks, okay? If you just close your eyes and listen to him, he literally sounds like Uncle Ruckus down to the one eye, everything. Okay? But when are we going to get to the point where we demand to be treated with dignity and respect? I feel like we got so far away from that. Look at how Joe Biden talked to the CBC. No respect. Sound like a plantation boss. It's no different than how Roland Martin talks to black people. It's no different than how Charleston White. It's unacceptable. Okay? We are phenomenal people that deserve dignity and respect, and that includes speaking to us with dignity and respect. That shock jock, clout chasing, either you're going to be a social media warrior or you're going to be about the business. And let's keep it a buck. Being a social justice warrior can be a thankless job. A lot of our icons died broke with nothing. Okay? And you got so many sellouts willing to sell us out that you wind up going back because it's way more people willing to sell you out for a quarter than to just stay and fight so the next generation will be all right. Let's see, Tyla, Nick Cannon. Yeah, as far as that Charleston White, the last thing I'm gonna say about that, he deserved every punch, every kick on his damn forehead, okay? I was hoping it was gonna pop his eye out or something, because you can't just keep talking to us like that, okay? He antagonized that. It's at a certain point. You can't keep talking to people crazy. It comes to a certain point to where we have no choice but to come to fisticuffs. You can't sit here and threaten people and think it's gonna be okay. People take exception to that. And in today's climate, where inflation is kicking us in our back, when immigrants is, we got so much stuff to be stressed out about. The last thing I want to do is go to a comedy show and be talked to like a freaking dog. See? Look, okay, no cuss word. But I landed there. He deserved what he got, and freak him. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Jess Cakes. Thank you, sister. Let me go ahead, and I see we got a new speaker up here. Lois Griffin. Okay. What's going on, Lois?
Hello, everybody. How are you? Shout out to the room. I just want to say thank you for having me in the space.
Is this, what's her name, Mom? Stephanie, this you, Stephanie?
It's me.
This is Lois.
Okay.
Well, it's Lois. I'm Lois Griffin today.
Okay. All right.
I had gotten in trouble. My other account is temporarily suspended for cursing out some white people. Yeah, I was giving that work and I got suspended. So the person lied. So, but it's
Welcome
cool.
back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome
Good night.
back.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to touch up on the subject of Nick Cannon and colorism. And, you know, I don't know if it's when these guys get it, and I'm not just guys, but females as well. They get a taste of the spotlight, and not just that, but, you know, it's constantly put in our faces, exotic beauties, as they call them. You know, the ambiguous women with the straight curly hair, or the men with the green eyes, straight hair, and that sort of thing. It's kind of like plays out since we've been dealing with slavery and Jim Crow and stuff like that, blue vein society. It almost reminds me of Mike Epps, in a sense, when Mike Epps had photoshopped his daughter's picture, and he made it look as if she had straight hair, like she was, you could see that she's mixed. And he got called out for it. He's been called out several times because he talked about his first kid's mother, and he talked about how ugly she was. She was black, and a whole bunch of other things. This kind of falls under the guideline. That's what it seems like to me. You know what I mean? But we just need a lot of work in that department, and we just have to constantly keep calling these folks out, because we can't keep burying our people. We're beautiful in all shades. I don't care what color we come in. The man that I was in love with for nearly 30 years, he's jet black, okay? Super black. And that's exactly what I loved about him. I loved his complexion and everything. So, you know, we have to put that to the side and say, you know, we got to leave that alone. You know, bury it. We have to fight against it. Texturism is another issue in the black community. A lot of us are not happy with the hair texture that a lot of us do have. So that plays in under the guise of colorism as well, even though it's two different things, but it still sort of falls in that direction. So we just need a lot of work in that those two departments. Charleston White, he is like so many other folks that take the suitcase full of money just to squat on your own people, so to speak. And I'm glad that he's being called out. I'm sorry that it happened the way it did, but I ain't gonna lie, I did laugh a couple of times because of the way he ran. He was trying to get away and still got. But hopefully he can take away from it and kind of learn that, you know, a lot of these people in our community, unfortunately, they're really poking a sleeping bear. And just to piggyback off of what Just Kate said, we have to start holding these people accountable when they like to put the black community down on national television and stuff like that. I mean, and if that means taking away from their, not supporting their endorsements, boycotting all of their endorsements, their sponsors, I mean, It's just a lot. Lastly, this girl, Tyla, or Taylor, whatever her name is, I don't really follow her anyway. I'm not into the Afrobeat thing. I've never even heard of her until a couple of weeks ago. So, she's just probably one of those that's she's going to be in the spotlight for a little bit, and then next thing you know, she'll fizzle out. So it's nothing really big to worry about. But that's all I have for right now, and thank you.
All right, thank you, sister. I appreciate that. I'm glad I saw the account. I'm like, Lois, we got Lois Griffin, we got the smart guy up in here. I say we got a black Lois Griffin at that too. So I was like, I gotta see. I was hoping. I'm like, damn, don't let this be a troll right here. So I'm gonna see what they gotta say. But as soon as I heard the voice, I'm like, the voice sounds awfully familiar there. So shout out to Lois. We'll call her Lois tonight. But shout out to my girl coming up in the space as well. DJ, I know you had your hand up. I was trying to get to the other speakers as well too, and anybody else that wants to speak tonight as well too, guys, definitely come on up here. Like I say, for those that can support, let's see if we can at least get $1 donation tonight, guys. We have not got one donation. If you got $1 that you can donate to the platform, please definitely think about that. $Newstoter, Newstoter. You ain't got to give a whole lot, but if you got $1 that you can spare, it is greatly appreciated. $Newstoter, Newstoter. If you do not have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal in the Jumbotron. And on YouTube, we have the PayPal and Venmo in the actual description. I want to hear what you got to say tonight, DJ. I know you hadn't had a chance to say. Now I see my girl No Taxation down there as well too. No Taxation. So you get a chance to come on up here. You and Miss G. Miss Giselle, what's going on, Miss Giselle? I see my girl Mel down there as well, too. Got a bunch of our people. Freeman, I'm surprised Freeman ain't come up here, but Freeman chilling or whatever tonight. So definitely, guys, come on up here. We got a number of speakers who came up here and spoke tonight, and I'm glad to have them up here. So definitely, any of our other people that normally attend the actual spaces, definitely don't be shy. Come on up here and speak. We want to hear what you guys got to say. We got 3 topics worth talking about. The young girl, I'm gonna say this before I kick it to you, DJ. The young girl, and like I think it was Rella Trouble, I think might have said that as a Black American, I definitely have an issue with the color thing. She's a 21-year-old, and I don't want to call her a girl because she's a woman. She's a 21-year-old woman, young woman. And culturally, she was raised in South Africa, totally different place. You're the majority, yet you have really nothing over there really worthwhile. And I don't know, because I think it's something like 8.2% of the population in South Africa is considered color. Of course, color could be anything. It could be black and white. It could be black and Indian. It could be black and Asian. It's just color. It could be Asian and white. Who knows? But it's colored. And I would assume, I don't know how the colors. I don't know if it's a caste system and the colors are considered better than the actual black people there or whatever it is. But what's accepted over there in her country, when you come and internationally and you travel or whatever, hopefully this young sister is willing to learn and understand the actual history in America. Somebody can school on that and let her know, well, we're not trying to take away from where you grew up from, where you're from or whatever, but over here, that is an offensive term. Black people don't want to be considered colored because during the time frame where they were colored, they were treated less than human. So, hopefully I know she's trying to expand her fan base globally and everything else in America. America is a place that you can be big overseas and everything, but if you really want to make it in the world of entertainment, you have to be validated here in America. So, hopefully she won't take offense to it. And some of the other South Africans as well, too. I know people saying, well, Black Americans, they should not, be the guardians of what it is in terms of culture, of other people and this and that or whatever. That may be all well and true, but when you come to America and when they look at you, you may say you're colored, and they may even look at you as mixed or biracial or whatever, but they're gonna mainly look at you as Black. So when you come over here and you say, well, I'm colored and this and that or whatever, don't get upset. Now, you've been warned. Don't get upset when you start to see faces frown up and you refer to yourself as colored and you're on national TV. People gonna be like, okay, like, is this girl here, what is she talking about? I can remember a story my mom told me back in the 70s. She went to Alabama and she took her aunt, would have been my great aunt. She took her to the actual supermarket, one of these supermarkets up there in Alabama. And I guess it had, not too long after segregation had been everything had been integrated or whatever. And she said they going in the store, whatever, and they're in the store, and then all of a sudden my aunt blurted out, she like, are you sure that colored people can come up in here? And my mom was like, yeah, I felt so embarrassed. She's like, but at the same time, it was funny. She's like, because I understood, hey, she grew up in that era, and even though I knew that everything had changed or whatever, she still wasn't sure or whatever. So when the young lady Tyla comes over here, hopefully, like I say, somebody can go ahead and give her a history lesson, let her know. And I'm sure she's been getting the history lesson lately online, because everybody's making sure that they let her know that, hey, that's not something we really, really roll with. So, I can understand, it's part of her culture. It's the way what she was born into, and she wants to preserve that. At the same time, when you go into another culture and something that is considered definitely offensive, because if anybody was to call a black person colored in this country today, the average black person would take offense to that. Now, you got some black people that wouldn't take offense to it, but the average black person, if you call them colored, they would take offense to that. So, Tyla, sweet pea, when you come over to the United States, just be warned that, hey, the people that look closest to you, and I know you're light skinned, and I know you quote unquote mixed biracial color, that's not a term of endearment here, and maybe it's not even a term of endearment at where you're at. It's just an actual label for people that are multi races. But hey, here it's going to be a situation. There's going to be a problem with it. So I just want to go ahead and put that out as well too. DJ, go ahead. I know you had, and then I'm gonna get to trouble.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess I'll lead off where you left off at. So, only Eminem gang is getting paid. These people don't want to learn about our history because they don't care. So to repeat what Dr. Claude Anderson has always said to us, they are not coming here for resources. I mean, they're not coming here to be your friend. They are coming for resources. So she don't care about any of that, because otherwise she would have had a liaison or someone to correct her by now, because you ain't heard no, hey, look, I understand by yet. I ain't heard no, I get it yet. You know what I mean? So, that pretty much marks that right there. So, just to get to the Charleston White thing, I know you said he only $120 soaking away, but I done seen the smallest dude put the biggest dudes down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've seen it too, but on average, somebody that little like this dude here, come on, he will get ran through. But go ahead.
Right. But even with that being said, we don't know his upbringing on that. He could have been out there fighting every day. I know this is the gun era for real now, but back just only a few years ago, you had to come outside and fight every day. Wasn't jokers getting gunned down in the street like it is now. Now it's just random. You know what I mean? You was getting popped in the street. You was either criminal, drug dealer, you really, really did something wrong. Like you really, really did something wrong. You know what I'm saying? So it's like nowadays the role reversed. You just got random kids out here carrying Glock 40s with extendo switches. Man, listen, this is what Charleston White talking about, but ain't nobody listening. So that dude that hopped up on stage, he the softy, because he couldn't take it. You know what I'm saying? Just like FBA gotta say, you're the one that came to my show, and you should know what I'm about. You should know. So if you really came for trouble, you're an agent of chaos just as well. Charleston White had every right. I would have smashed it with the pot. That was a poinsettia, by the way. I do landscaping, FBA guys. You know what I'm saying? That was a poinsettia plant. You know what I'm saying? It's the holiday system. You know what I'm saying? Get you one at the mark. You know what I mean? Real talk. You know what I mean? So that's what it was. And you saw the dude got mad, smashed it with the pot. Watch what it was. I would have hit him too. I done been in these clubs, and these people think that coming there are here for trouble. It's the same cats that don't dance, yo. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a house club. You know what I'm saying? We on the dance floor. These the same cats looking at me, and I'm trying to groove on Keisha and Tasha. You know what I'm saying? They trying to rob me, son. You know what I mean? You see Charleston White jewels, it ain't a game. Or regardless if you think it's real or fake, the average joker that's hungry, he think that's for real. You know what I'm saying? He think he about to get paid. That's a come up to him. So, jokers, they send their little beans in. Like old boy that got smashed over the head with the pot. Go for you. You know what I'm saying? And Charleston White switched your security up, homie, because old boy that came in on the right side of the screen, he shouldn't have been able to get around nobody and made it another foot on top of that stage. So you're going to have to switch your security up and, pretty much leave it at that. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not for everything Charleston White has said either, because we have had those discussions. Shout out to Brother Marco, be more codified. that, hey, when you out here saying things like, hey, I hope every black kid come up in these Asian stores and rob them all and do all this other stuff. Hold on.
Hey, we had that discussion here in this space before.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Son. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. What he say? Nah, we don't condone that in our neighborhood because when the Asians come to our hood, we treat them like they family. You know what I'm saying? But we don't get that same respect when they come set up shop here. Now, you got the one-off situations. And these are just one-off situations. California, New York, where, you know, we live amongst each other in that way. You know what I mean? We live amongst the others. You know what I'm saying? We're the originals. You know what I mean? Shout out to Original Blood. They're in our neighborhood. So if one of our people mistreats them, then their community should come to us and say, hey, look, this happened. But they will go to the news media and say they are being ostracized and terrorized and tormented and da-da-da. And we need a hate crime bill. You know what I mean? And we need to get in the affirmative action and all this other stuff, only to realize now that it has backfired on you because these white folks are still prejudiced. They ain't letting you in. Yeah, that's another good one. Damn, we winning tonight. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Newstoter. I got one more for y'all. So this is about to be funny title right here. You know? So with that being said, let me go over here to this out. So let me come back over here to where y'all at. So the Charleston White gets some new security, dog. You know what I'm saying? And to speak on Nick Cannon, right? We should definitely leave him alone. You know what I mean? Because if you remember the interview he had with, I don't even want to say homie name because I don't even want him in the mix. I ain't even gonna say. If y'all wanted to know what I'm talking about, back channel, real talk. I know the space recorded, but I don't even want to bring him up. But y'all remember an interview Nick Cannon had on his what's the name of his podcast he got, where it just be him talking with the guests or whatever. You know what I mean? But make a long story short, he had this guest on there, and he was talking about the J Gang, and the guest was just looking at him like, "Knock a shut up, bro. Just shut up." But he wouldn't stop talking, yo. Nick don't care. You know what I'm saying? He just here for the limelight. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say that person's name. You know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure y'all know.
Oh, you talking about what's his name? Yeah, I know you talking about.
You already know them people got it out for Big Bro too, just as well as they got it out for Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? And the whole he sued the hell out the ADL. You know what I'm saying? For all $5 billion worth or whatever it is he's suing for, and the judge awarded him twice as much because they need to go. So, you know, Nick Cannon, we ain't messing with you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be the one that said you excommunicated from the community and you can't go to the cookout. That ain't up to me. You know what I'm saying? That's up to community. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he having a conversation on colorism. You know what I'm saying? Man, if that ain't so old 70s, 80s, man, you black or you redhead, like, come on, man. Like, I know it'd be funny if we amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But to come out on national TV and you black and you like are supposed to be a leader, you know what I'm saying? We got so many other problems, Nick, that I know you know. So I'm not going to go on you, Nick. I know you know, bro. You know what I'm saying? We don't got time for that. Come on with some conversations in an election year. No voter die, no voting, no fucking type conversations. We in an election year, Nick. You got pulled to start having real conversations surrounding reparations, Black State of America, you know, black media. You know, hey, slide Newstoter up on. You know what I'm saying? It's real out here in the streets. You know what I mean? But these knockers don't want to help because they can't make nothing off it. You know what I'm saying? So Nick ain't gonna never really have that real conversation because he don't know how to monetize the conversation. Real talk. So with that being said, the Tyla girl, I guess that goes in the same thing of the whole color stuff. But shout out to my South African artists, but excuse me, they know what's going on. They not privileged either. You know what I'm saying, to the information. But you'll have certain one-offs like the Tyla lady who just don't either understand, don't care to understand, and ain't got nobody to tell them, hey, look, you can't say that because of, you know, boom. You feel what I'm saying? Or you may not really know the real history, boom. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody educating these artists out here. Ain't nobody educating them, but you know, you can come over to Kite Productions on social. I got some information for you, but I ain't gonna never tell you. I'm just gonna show you. You know what I mean? It's up to you to drink the water. I can only tell you where it's at if you're dehydrated. You know what I mean? So Spotify ain't paying nobody no more unless you reaching a certain threshold of streams. It's over with, yo. Ain't nobody spending their money on these subscriptions. How many of y'all done cancel certain subscriptions this year? Regardless if you couldn't afford it or not, you paying the bill, ain't even using it. It's about to be over with, y'all. So save your money. Black Friday looking real bad out here. You know what I'm saying? These Fortune 500 companies, WPIs. Shout out to all the folks that say don't buy nothing. You know what I'm saying? The economy ain't looking too good on this Black Friday. You know what I mean? Because ain't nobody bought nothing. Because the deals is trash anyway. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Charleston White, I think he was right on certain things. But, you know, you got your one-off things that he said, like, you know, when we had that discussion. So it is what it is. And that, Nick, I don't know. We're going to have to put you on the back burner in 2024 moving forward till you get some NACA understanding, you know what I mean? And, you know, the Tyla girl, you know, that this the music industry, all controlled by the J gang. So, you know, you have a lot of folks that I see that I came up with too in my days of really out here running the streets doing music. All they doing is Afro beats. What about your Black American rappers that are here that need a shine or a shot? They ain't getting no love now because, you know, the others giving them love because they feel they, you know, it's whatever. You know, that's another whole nother conversation. But Charleston, switch your security up, son.
Real talk. Thank you, DJ. And I'm going to say this real quick before I kick it to Trouble. This dude, Nick Cannon, and I know he's doing this colorism thing, like, and we was talking about it, like, I don't know if this is like some different world episode when you had the Mammy edition, or this is school days, or what it is, or whatever it is. But let's not forget too now, the blackest thing Nick Cannon done been with, you know, in the past, who knows how long, was Mariah Carey, his first wife, and Mariah Carey's mix. So, I mean, let's just, you know, just leave it at that right there. Nick Cannon, something like this really does no good for black people, does any good for black people. So this is just ridiculous. You kind of just gotta, whatever Nick Cannon touches does well too. Rarely you see something Nick Cannon, you know, a show that he has and it just bombs. It doesn't do anything. So, you know, Nick Cannon doesn't even have to do this. Nick Cannon can make money. Nick Cannon can, you know, can put out something successful or whatever. He didn't really even have to touch up on this, right? It was no need. In 2023, black people are not trying to have a black versus a light skin versus dark skin, because everybody in here has people on all spectrums in their family. I'm pretty sure, I don't care. You could have a family that's all dark and you're going to have at least somebody light skin in there, and vice versa. You could have a family that's all light skin and you're going to have somebody dark skin in there, but normally it's mixed up. So it's really no point, no need to even have anything like this, period, on TV. And I'm just being real. Let me give a shout out real quick to Stephanie. Stephanie, thank you for your contribution on Cash App. Let's see if we can get somebody else to donate with Stephanie tonight as well, too, before we close it out. So shout out to Stephanie. Let me go ahead and kick it to Trouble.
Just real quick, did you ever get the my notifications on PayPal? I meant to be meaning to ask you that too. I wasn't sure. Go ahead, though.
I don't think I did.
Yeah, double check, bro.
All right. Let me go ahead and kick it to Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Oh, okay. So, DJ, you made some excellent points. I thought you was going to come on with the Kevin Samuels was right, but you wouldn't.
He was. He was.
But
I'm holding it down for the Godfathers.
I was sitting there like, oh, my God, I agree with DJ. Like, but the thing about the little Tyla girl, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't say the little Tyla girl. She's 21, so you're right. She is a woman, but she's young. And even if she wasn't young, a lot of people coming from over in those areas, as both Toter and DJ both mentioned, they don't have an obligation or feel a need to learn our history over here. So to them, it's not consequential. They're here to get the resources. They're here to get the bag. And unfortunately, they would love nothing more than to replace us. And in their eyes, this is exactly what they're doing in this moment in time right now, is they're replacing the all glorious Black Americans, because globally we are the standard. And these Africans have shown us online and pretty much, you know, through their rhetoric that, you know, they want to be seen as the standard on a global level. They keep constantly trying to convince our people that we're the worst blacks globally, but we're the most copied, most envied, most, revered on a global level. So yeah, they're trying to replace it. So as far as them trying to learn our history, that's not getting ready to happen. They can give a damn about our history. And besides, they still have this love for the white man that we don't have. And so, what happens is when they come here, that white man validates them. And he validates their negativity and their negative feelings and thoughts towards us Black Americans. So when the whole thing about colorism or you being called colored, comes up, the white man is there whispering in their ear, their God, their daddy, to tell them, you're right. Those, American Negroes are wrong. You have every right to, and don't listen to them because, you all are the, creme de la creme, and so we're moving in your direction. And so they're going to get that validation from white society that says they don't have to learn our history. They'll be very, and I'm not going to put them all in that boat because that would be wrong, but because there's some that's very thorough and who do take the time to learn our history and ally themselves with us. But for those who are specifically coming to get the bag, specifically coming to attempt, and might I say, a piss poor attempt to replace us, that is what they're going to do. And they're going to have white daddy right there, to validate, that they're right and we're wrong. As far as Charleston White being skinny, Newstoter, I'm going to need to cut that out, honey. I've been a $1.05, $1.25 all my life. And I've always been able to wang with it, honey. Always been able to wang with it. We'll take something about us skinny people. See what we do is when we get you down, we wrap these we wrap these spider legs around you and leg lock you in. Then we wear you down. We wear you. See, y'all big people, y'all ain't got so much stamina. So those skinny people gotta wear you out. We gotta get that stamina to come down, and then got you.
But you can't front now for a dude. Charleston is a little dude though.
Yeah, he do look like people used to tell me, girl, a good wind come through and just knock you all down. And I'm like, look, I done had that happen before. With good wind but dust come through and I be holding on for dear life to the nearest pole next to me.
That joke about he about the size of my teenage sons, to be real.
Oh yeah. But the last point I want to make about Charleston White is that I know that he said that, when I brought up the Cam Newton video when I first started talking, is that he said that when he was doing a clean cut way, no one paid attention. So he went a different direction to get, notification, get noticed. Once you get the attention, once you garner the attention, now you've grabbed people's attention and they're noticing you now like they never noticed you when you was doing it the clean cut or the so-called, quote unquote, right way. Now that you've garnered that attention, what are you going to do with it? Okay, because see, once you switch your stuff up and you go gully on people to get them to pay attention to you, do you continue to then stay in that gully mind frame, or do you try to pull the people that's in that gully mind frame back into the center? So once you get your notoriety, you don't have to stay stuck in that hood-like mentality if the overall goal is to help the Black community, because that's what you said, right? So that you've got that attention. Once you get it, my whole thing is, now do something different. Don't keep coming out saying wild stuff to get more attention, because you've already got the people's attention. So you've got to do something with that notoriety that you gained once you've got it. You don't continue the same degenerate behaviors that, tactics that you use to put yourself where you're at now. You're there. Let's move. And I land right there.
Thank you.
That nigga that jumped on stage still couldn't take it. He's soft though.
Thank you, Trevor. I got to read this comment real quick from No Taxation. She had a couple comments. She says, "Isn't that a coincidence? The woman, Tyla, says she's colored, South African, and Nick Cannon announced he's going to do a School Days Jigaboo versus Wannabes TV show." So I mean, No taxation. She was on point with that. When it is ironic in this conversation that you got your girl from South Africa talking about she's colored, which, like I say, no knock against that sister. And then you got Nick Cannon sitting up here doing this school days type scenario or whatever. So it is really, really, really crazy.
I think Cannon still got to pay penance to the small hats. He still ain't paid his full debt. They like for you to come pay $500,000, go on an apology tour and learn their history. But Nick Cannon probably on a contract with the small hats. You got to give us 3 years of cooling before we let you go free. We can't give you free right now. We can't give you free right now.
Hey, Trouble. Remember, he did all that wilding out to try to get out of that wilding out contract because he want to have ownership of his wilding out. That's his nest egg baby. But you signed that contract with these jokers for like 20, 30 years or whatever it was you signed for. You feel what I'm saying? And let's not talk about the post residuals when the reruns start happening. Who's getting the syndication for that? Who's getting the publishing, the copyrights? You feel me? I ain't even gonna get this.
Real talk. So we got no taxation up here, no taxation. What's going on?
Hey, News.
What's up?
Everybody in the room, people that named and unnamed. Guess what I'm drinking?
Let's
start there.
We've been talking about Diddy a lot, some Lisa Rock.
It's the holidays, okay? It's called the Smoky Mountain. I'll take a picture and put it up on the thing. It is butter pecan. What is this shit called? Wait a minute, because I think butter pecan. It works too. Butter pecan moonshine.
I need my glasses.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you ever see it, get it. But if you into stuff like that, I usually don't do moonshine. But it is moonshine, and it's real nice and smooth. Here, y'all gave me a lot of food for thought, especially about Charleston White, because I like him. And the reason I like him is because I know he's serious about what he's doing. He's in the trenches. And he's been in the trenches for a long time, and he's, made some political moves and stuff like that, and tried to move the needle forward, and probably did a little bit, but then, times change, right? And he's dealing with the poorest of poor. He's not dealing with the kids whose parents are able to get them into the baseball or the football stuff, and play the other teams. He's not dealing with those types of kids. He's dealing with kids that are in deep poverty. And he's serious about it. And he made a valid point in his interview. He said that he doesn't ask people for money because it's self-sustaining. And that's the goal for us, isn't it? To be self-sustained. What I did notice and what I picked up on in that interview was towards the end, if y'all saw the interview, towards the end of the interview, I would say the last 5 to 8 minutes of that interview, that was the real essence of of who he is and who Cam Newton is and what they care about. Because Cam told his story and put his foundation on the line and said, "I'd love to work with you with what you're doing," and that kind of stuff. And even when Cam said it, I think it was with bravado. I think they was trying to match him, which happens in the game. Who's helping who the most, that kind of thing. And that's good, healthy competition. But what I also noticed after that, after he offered him that, Charleston said something else crazy. And he said, "Now see, and that's when he said, he kind of winked at him and said, "Yeah, man, it's an act." And he was like, "Oh, okay." So Cam didn't get it until the very end. And I think Charleston White is a guy that, whether he's a comedian or working with people in poverty, I think his personality is take you down the road anyway. Because he said he was in hospitals for so long. He was sickly as a child. And so, he didn't have nothing to do with his mind but go on a journey. So I think that's just part of his personality. And he's either you like him or you don't like him. He says stuff that probably nobody is going to agree with, and then he can say stuff that everybody is going to agree with. But that's his shtick, you know? And if he didn't have a heart for the people, I probably wouldn't rock with him, regardless. But I do think that he has a heart for the people. Yeah, and he's doing the street people and street kids. And his stuff is really for the kids. So, you know, who he is. I'm not going to knock him. I just found out about that Tyla woman. When Mandela was still locked up and everything was going awry down in the 70s in South Africa and got real bad, they were calling those people of that woman's color colored. And I don't know if she came up, and you know, that's what I knew them to be called, truthfully, until y'all said something different. Because I just thought that was part of their culture, that they called people of mixed biracial people, what would be biracial over there or over here, colored. I thought that was part of their society and culture. So, you know, but we tried to tell them back then. Even then, I don't think they listened. White folks taught them that. But anyway, so that's her. Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon is the jigaboo at this point. and so never mind who he offended and had to make up to, and he might be still paying homage to and all that kind of stuff. He's a Californian. That's the only thing I could say. He's one of them black Californians that came up in San Diego or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They think different out there. And no offense to anybody who's out there on the West Coast, but they do think differently, and he's just one of them. So I can see him doing something like this, whether he needs the money or whether he didn't need the money, because Nick Cannon's real money comes off the backs of black folks in our culture. He don't really do anything over there with white folks unless they ask him to introduce the people for those different talent shows and stuff like that. So, you know, you get what you pay for with him. And listen, I want to wish everybody have a happy holiday, a peaceful holiday, a safe holiday, a prosperous holiday. May you have money coming in your doors, and that your health is in great shape for 2024, because that first 6 months is going to be something to see. So I wish everybody well. That's it.
Thank you. No taxation. Definitely about that health. That health is even more important than that money, because you can have all the money in the world, but if your health is crap, it don't mean one bit. So definitely agree with you on that part right there. DJ, I know you had your hand up as well too. We ain't gonna keep it open too much longer. I see, guys, just to give y'all a heads up, I see we got a bunch of spaces going on about I don't know what's going on with Connie and Sir Major and stuff like that, but y'all expect to hear a bunch about these spaces going on lately and stuff like that as well too, guys. So it's gonna be you're gonna see some back and forth coming up. Just giving everybody a heads up. Before this space here started, I saw a couple of those spaces going on. I'm like, it's gonna be on. So hopefully everybody will keep it as civil as possible and stuff like that. I don't know, but definitely just giving everybody a heads up. You know, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing something. Even though tonight was more of entertainment focus or whatever, we're gonna mix it up and get back into news and politics, but we're gonna mix it up with some entertainment here and there as well too, just to give us a nice little mix and match. But yeah, just give everybody a heads up. You'll probably be seeing more of those spaces coming up here, guys. So just to let everybody know. Ray, go ahead. You got it.
What's going on, bro? I'm going to be real quick. I was just going to ask you, have you had a chance to read Trump's new plan that he has for Black America for 2024?
No, I haven't had a chance to read it yet. Send it to me. If you got it, Ray, send it to me. I think somebody said, didn't Waka Flocka post? Did he post the old Trump plan? And was this something new that he posted today? Because somebody was saying Waka Flocka, the rapper, for those that don't know, he posted. I don't know if he posted Trump's plan or whatever, but yeah, I got to hear what Trump's got planned for black people. So this will definitely be worth a quick look at. But if you got it, Ray, definitely DM it, send it to me. DJ, you want to go ahead and say something real quick as well too?
Yeah, it was something I wanted to say. Oh yeah, I was in CC space. You know what I mean? Mr. Engaged, you got trolled up out of there. You know what I mean? Shout out to that. That's a good Christmas gift for you right there, son. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. He mad because Jokers is taking his little Negro crescent, trolling him with it. So he talking about making lawsuits. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I say, man, that's gonna that may be getting a shout out because, like I say, we definitely I don't know what's gonna happen there, but that don't be surprised if you don't see a back and forth going on for the next week or two with some of that stuff going on and these spaces popping up as well too. So go ahead, Ray, you got it.
So I posted up in the Jumbotron for anyone who wants to take a look at it, and yes, I did too.
What was that last part you said, Ray?
I posted to the Jumbotron, and you asked me to send you a DM. I sent you a DM.
Okay, yeah, okay, because I know Reverend Damian Jones. I know he's got a space going on now talking about Trump's plan for black people as well too. So that we were not going to keep
that one for a hot second too. They over there going and know what I mean. But I think that's something that we need to definitely talk about over here for sure though.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll hit up on it this week or whatever and try to mix it in with some other news relevant topics as well too. So we'll see what's up. There's a couple different things I want to maybe touch up on this week as well too. But yeah, we'll try to go ahead and get some of these things all flowing together.
For sure. Hey, so just real quick, right? So with that being said, right, considering the conversation we had tonight, let me come back over here to holler at y'all now, real quick. So just based off the conversation we had tonight, or what was said, so we do this entertainment stuff, y'all. I call this the family business. You know what I mean? Nick Cannon messing up the family business. You feel what I'm saying? This is why Steve got mad at Monique, but Monique was right though. You know what I'm saying? Keep it real. You know what I mean? We don't care what you're saying, Steve. You know, the money ain't everything. It's only everything you can buy with it. Kanye said that, and Kanye winning right now too. Adidas had no choice but to pay that man. He a billionaire again. We just don't know. You know what I mean? Shout out to Chicago, now. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I think this is the perfect opportunity over the holidays, as we with family, friends, and me, listening and watching certain things, to go find an artist in your neighborhood. I ain't gonna hit you with to go name me 10, because I can give you hands and toes. People that's in New Jersey that you'll love them. You know what I mean? Shout out to Miss Giselle right there. She got some folks in Baltimore. I'm sure you'll love them. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is the perfect example to go find a local artist in your neighborhood and support. This local content curator like Newstoter, you from Florida. You know what I'm saying? Support him. You know what I mean? And like he always say, if you got $1 to spare, that's good too. But if not, hey, like these spaces, go back and watch them old news titles over the holidays. When the family come over, just have it on the screen. Don't touch it. I got the remote. Y'all gonna listen to this. What's up with the conversations? We don't have those conversations with our family. And when we do, it's really argumentative based. So, I want someone with tax drinking so that way I can smooth people over for the holidays. There you go.
Real talk, y'all. That's what's up. Ray, I saw that thing. Was that from was that when he was president, or is that a new plan that he has for black people?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. They're making spaces about it, so I'm assuming it must be something new, but I haven't read the old one versus this one to be able to, tell if it's old or new.
Okay. We'll have to check that out and see exactly what's what, because I didn't know if that was an old one or a new one. But hey, on that note, I guess this is as good a time as any to go ahead and end the space, guys. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Thank everybody once again for coming out, supporting the Newstoter podcast / Twitter space / X space, or whatever you want to call it. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Everybody be safe. Have a good night. Peace.
Peace. And it was the platinum plan they went over. That's all. But go ahead, though.